Hello everyone, this is Gerald Rodriguez, Customer Success Manager at DeFiner, and your host for this, your DeFiner Live Twitter space, where we talk about the latest updates on everything DeFiner, who we are, why we do what we do, and what we're doing to give you the best DeFi experience in the industry. This is a place and a space where you can not only talk about DeFiner's current developments and future plans, but also, and most importantly, this is a place where DeFiners can connect with each other, with our team, and with the broader DeFi and crypto community. So this is a space for you. For those who are joining us now during the live session or who will join us after, I want to start by saying both welcome and thank you. It's great to have you in this conversation. Thank you for being a part of this wonderful community. I know we started a few minutes early. See Maximus joining us. Welcome, Maximus. Great to have you with us. We're going to wait just a few minutes. I was just giving some words of introduction to our Twitter space. And we'll just wait a couple of minutes, see more people join, and then we'll have our little and interesting conversation. What's happening today in the market? So, yes, just wait a few minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully more people join us today. I think it's going to be a great conversation. We have a Maximus with us. I'm just going to invite you to speak as well. If you just want to talk, that's okay. If not, that's fine. I have a few things in mind that I would like to discuss. I want to let you know that this conversation is also recorded and it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel afterwards. So we want to make sure that everyone gets involved. I want to hear your input, right? Your thoughts about what's going on. So so what is happening in the market, right? I am completely taken aback by what's going on. Seriously, things seem to be spiraling down, out of control. And, can someone explain to me what's going on? Like, what's going on? It's crazy. I think this has been one of the wildest years in the crypto industry, blockchain industry. We know what happened earlier this year with Terra Luna. Now we see FTX, right? And what happened there. We can discuss a little bit about what's going on, but in some way or another, everyone has been affected this year by the mismanagement of funds, by things that happen that are, in a way, not in our control. And perhaps that's something we should think about, right? Not in our control. Wasn't crypto and this industry meant for us to have control, right, over our money, our funds, without, say, someone else, a third party intervening? So that's very interesting, huh? Listen, I was looking at the numbers, and I see that in just 1 week. In 1 week, guys, the total crypto market cap for the entire industry, right, according to CoinMarketCap, has a drop over 20%. So it pretty much shed over 200 billion. So it's with the B. $200 billion with a B in value, which is incredible, simply incredible. Like 200 billion gone in just 1 week. And what's going to happen, right? We're probably biting our nails, scratching our heads. Is this, what's going to happen later on? Will FTX be rescued? Will this be its demise? What's going to happen? So just want to go over what the situation is, right? And, by any chance, if any of you wants to speak, right, or comment in the comment section below, please do. I want to hear what you have to say about what's happening right now. What's the situation? This time around, as you know, the problem is, or happened with FTX, right? So FTX was one of the top, 3-4 major crypto exchanges in the world. And over the last week or so, it completely collapsed. And what really the issue here started with liquidity crunch, right? At the platform, on the platform, and pretty much a lack of solvency. And a lot of people, right, when they saw this, what do you do when you notice something like that? You want to withdraw your funds, right? So that's what happened. There was a huge withdrawal, outflow of assets from FTX elsewhere, but the platform couldn't handle it. I mean, it was about, how much was it? About $6 billion, right? In about $6 billion would be in withdrawals, and in a lapse of 72 something hours, or a few days. This is crazy, right? And the series of events that unfolded over the last week. You probably heard on the news, on Twitter. Twitter is blown up with everything that's happening. I believe it was on Tuesday, Binance signing a non-binding agreement to take over FTX, and which pretty much meant that they were going to buy FTX, the non-US unit, and to help cover all that, the liquidity issues, and pretty much bail them out. But after that happened, and the massive withdrawals that occurred, we saw later in the week that Binance actually pulled out of that acquisition, FTX acquisition. And why is that? You probably know already that they looked at the financials of FTX, and they were simply a mess. It's incredible what you can see behind the scenes, and if that's happening with FTX in this case, I mean, what's going on? I mean, it just makes me wonder what's happening elsewhere in other platforms that we use, and perhaps take their services for granted, but what's happening behind the scenes. So now we see that the FTT token losing over 90% of its value in just 1 week. So for those FTT token holders out there, I'm sorry. I know this has affected everyone. Personally, myself, I don't have any holdings on FTT, but I know people that have holdings, and that's, it's been sad, right, for them to, their value just vanished overnight pretty much. And it just reminded me of, brings back memories of the Terra Luna event, and how, I had a really good friend of mine that lost pretty much everything, man. He had invested in so much, right, in Luna and that ecosystem, and all of a sudden it was gone. So that is something that's occurring, and that's what's happening, and I wonder, on the other hand of things, what is FTX trying to be rescued, right? Is Recue or is Demise? Because now we hear the management being restructured, now Sam leaving, and now another CEO has been named, some restructuring there and the team, and Tron actually, they have this credit facility now swapping Tron, BTT, JST, Sun tokens, and even HT to swap assets from FTX, the 1-to-1 ratio to external wallets. So I guess people are trying to help FTX, but I wonder how that's going to play out in the long run. And not only in the long run, but right now, like people have enough trust now. The same with Luna. Like people were saying, "Hey, Luna 2.0 or Terra 2.0, and now it's going to be different. We're trying to solve this situation. We're going to rise from the ashes, so to speak." And what's happened to Terra Luna, right? Obviously, it's not a top 20 tokens anymore, and the traction has been lost a bit, and people just when they lose trust, right, which is key. When they lose trust, that's it. That's so important in any relationship, right? Because when we put our money or funds and crypto assets in any platform, we're actually trusting them. But we're going to talk a little bit about that later, about the dynamics of trusting and custodial, non-custodial, etc. So my question now is, after this it's unfolding real time. What are the implications? What are the implications for the industry as a whole, right? What does that mean for us, for the entire industry moving forward? Imagine now I can only imagine the regulators, right? The crypto industry just being under a microscope, and some of the sectors that will be scrutinized the most. I think it's CeFi and TradFi organizations, right? They can, they're there. They're subject to more regulations, and yes, that's we'll see what happens in the coming months. But in 1 year, two big blows, that is something to worry about. Now, are we going to see some more unfortunate news ahead? I've been thinking about, okay, this is FTX, but what's happening now that this is blown up? Well, I don't know if you're familiar with this company, but they're called BlockFi, and they have some. They're established in the U.S. and elsewhere. They have. They provide crypto custodial services, kind of like savings accounts, etc. They're obviously like a CeFi / TradFi organization. But now they were related in some way to FTX, Alameda, and now they're pausing withdrawals, and who knows when that's going to resume again. So I just bring that up because how about the institutions that FTX was involved with, right? So the repercussions of this event, we're just barely scratching the surface and starting to see what's happening. And little by little, everything will uncover. But I guess, now that even, many organizations are finding out via Twitter, I guess. So now Twitter is the main source of information for people. So I guess that's what's going to happen. And remember also, going along with that question, what's going to happen from now on in the next month, 2, 3. Earlier mentioned about Luna, and you probably know about what happened there, but very sour, unpleasant memories of their collapse, and the parallels also that exist on the token side with Terra USD and then the Luna token. I don't know if you remember this, but in that ordeal with Terra Luna, it actually set off a series of bankruptcies at Singapore Fund, Three Arrows Capital, the U.S. fintech firms, Voyager Digital, even Celsius. Do you remember that? That was some big news there of them filing for bankruptcy, and what's going to happen now? Now FTX maybe is the tip of the iceberg, but what are the other firms that were dependent upon their services? And yeah, that's something to ponder, to think about. I just remember earlier this year seeing some, commercials, FTX commercials, Super Bowl commercials, or that promotion, and everyone that got involved because of it. And now, sadly, this is what's come down to. So, what will happen now? So, if you have an idea of what you think will happen, or some of the organizations or companies that are that are linked to FTX or subsidiaries, put them down in the comment section below. We have to spread the word, let people know, maybe build awareness, right, of what's going on, because you never know when's your turn, right, and when your turn is going to be. So, but now it's very gloomy. Days are pretty dark, and people are comparing this to like 2008, the crash of the stock market, and the Great Recession in a way. But is this a great recession for crypto? Well, you tell me. I don't know. You tell me. Put them in the comment section below. Let us know. I want to know, what do you think? These are very important questions to ponder on, to think about. But one thing is for certain, that these are uncertain times. the certainty of the uncertain times. Because no one knows 100% what's going to happen later today, or tomorrow, or a month from now, or a year from now. Right? So who knows how many organizations and individuals were affected by the FTX collapse. We simply don't know how things will play out from now on. But the good news amongst, the silver lining is that first, we know that this industry is going to continue to move forward. So what I'm saying here is we should focus on controlling what we can, right? And that's what tough people do, right? These, like the greatest wars, I know the saying goes, the greatest wars have shaped the strongest of people and the toughest of people. It's because we're fighting, we're here, and our responsibility is to control what we can from now on. That's what I think. And you probably heard the expression, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? So in difficult or uncertain times, we need to take action. I think that's what we need to do as individuals, right? As users, as believers of this space, of projects, right? We've had a few hiccups, of course. It happens. But now is the time not to put our head down, but to look up, right? Take action to overcome this and move forward. We should be looking forward for what's coming, and how we can change things to make things better. It's like we all have a part to play in this industry, right? It's not just the big players, the big organizations that have control over that. Like, we do have control. That's exactly why crypto came about, so that we could be, part of it. We could own our own finances and our own financial future. So, but we talk a lot about action, right? About focusing on what we can control. But we first need to know what's going on and understand what we can do, what's happened, so that we know what we can do. So I think preparation precedes action. And a big part of preparing for what's coming is understanding what happened, so that we don't make the same mistakes again, so that we are prepared, we learn from our errors and move forward, knowing that we can do better, right? So what's really behind all of this mayhem, right? Like, what's really behind this? Because we're talking about FTX, we talked about Luna, and what's happening there, and some people trying to come in and help. But what is the root cause of all of this? And I personally believe that it is a problem of, especially in this industry, of centralization. right? Like this industry was born with decentralization as one of its core pillars. But today we see projects and users leaning heavily on CeFi, TradFi, like centralized entities, right? Exchanges, FTX being one of them, and you have to understand something. Probably exchanges. There's liquidity. You want to trade your tokens. You're probably a trader, and you want to have the flexibility and the tools there, which is not a bad thing. But you need to have a plan. You need to understand the risks and the consequences, and know that you're not in custody of your crypto, right? So when you use CeFi or TradFi, by the way, so if you look deeper into how a CeFi or TradFi organization is managed, you find a few things, right, that may be a bit worrisome to a few people. So it's and this was brought up with the FTX case. It's a lack of transparency sometimes in how they manage their finances. But now a lot of CeFi projects are doing what are they doing now? They're looking into proof of reserves. Why? Because that they think that's going to help them, solve that issue about lack of transparency. They want more transparency. They want people to know what's happening behind the scenes, and the proof of reserves will help with that. And a few, projects and oracles, they have services like that, but it's still like a service that needs to evolve, needs to grow, needs to develop. I read on Twitter earlier about some project that they're looking to do like proof of reserves, but with the technology and what it's offered in the market, it's still not really well developed, and these people are lacking that solution. But I guess this is a step in the right direction. Like, people should know what's going on. Like, when you are like and organizations should be responsible of people's funds. Now, users, investors, traders have to understand also that if you don't own the keys, it's not your crypto, right? Not your keys, not your coin, not your keys, not your crypto. You probably heard this a million times already, but that is a risk that you take when putting your crypto in centralized financial exchanges or platforms or traditional finance or a mix of the two, right? So that is one aspect. The other one I was thinking about is self-sovereignty, right? So which means that you, with CeFi, TradFi, you're pretty much at the mercy of what their team chooses to do or not to do with your crypto on their platform. Like in the case of FTX, for instance, the funds come in and they would lend them out right into secondary markets, and who knows what would happen there. And it's a risky part of doing business, right? Of getting involved with them. Like, sometimes you don't know where the funds are at, and that's why they want to come in and implement these proof of reserves, so that people know, hey, these are our reports. This is where our funds are being locked or being stored. So, but at the end of the day, they have their own, like those platforms, CeFi, TradFi, they have their own politics, their own way of doing things, and perhaps that could be a detriment to the users, or they want to cover their backs first before anyone else's. So that's a risk that you take by getting involved. But now, knowing what the issue is, like underneath the surface, I think that there are solutions to that, and I firmly believe that this is where DeFi, right, and DAOs come in. And DeFi protocols and DAOs, I'm not here just to say, oh, they're perfect. because I know they're not by any stretch of the imagination. So because you still have some issues too, like this is an industry that is evolving, that is growing. If you think about it, it's been around for what 13, 14 years, 15 years or something, and you see other markets that have been there for longer and have more time to be optimized, and now we're here, right? And we are, in a way, early adopters of this technology, of crypto. So you're going to see some issues as well, like liquidity issues or hack every now and then. But on the bright side, DeFi protocols are actually, and DAOs are actually getting stronger. They're getting more secure and more user friendly. There are more tools to help DeFi protocols and DAOs do better, right? And it's fun. It's better for everyone. It raises the bar for the entire industry. So, and why do I mention DeFi protocols and DAOs? Well, perhaps now with what happened with FTX and Terra Luna, other things. Even if you trace it back to the beginning of Mt. Gox, it was an exchange, and it was CeFi too. People, perhaps this is an eye opener. People will start coming to DeFi a little bit more, and why is that, right? So I was looking into that. What are a few advantages that DeFi protocols and DAOs have over CeFi, TradFi? I think first and foremost is that you own your keys, you own your crypto. It's not most DeFi is non-custodial. You have control of your crypto assets. Of course, you have to make sure that there is liquidity in the platform, but you own your keys, right? You connect your wallet, you own your keys, and then it's through a smart contract that everything happens and the transaction, so it's automated. So you have also another advantage, which is transparency. So every transaction is recorded on the blockchain in real time, which sometimes doesn't happen in like CeFi, TradFi organizations. They bundle up transactions, and it's harder to identify, or it's not in real time. So they have internal ledgers. So this is another difference. Is the transparency in the transaction. Also the automation, automatizing the whole process with the funds and governance. The control of those things, of the protocol, can be done via smart contracts, code, and the decentralization aspect. We talked a lot about centralization, and now having it decentralized. So there's a bit of a caveat here, and that is that decentralization still not perfect, right? No protocol is fully 100% decentralized. I think the most decentralized project is Bitcoin, of course. We know it's been around longer, more people are involved, etc. And DeFi and DAOs, the community in general has more of a voice in the changes and updates of the protocol. So there is more participation. But perhaps the decentralization is not perfect, but there are more people involved, and people can vote and have a say. And that way, not just one team, a small core team, has the whole power or authority over the protocol. So now, with all of this in mind, I think it's time to take action. I mentioned earlier about what we can do. We need to understand. We need to take action, right? And if anything, I think that these hiccups in this industry, perhaps they are a blessing. They're a blessing in disguise. I know many people are suffering, but at the same time, we need to see, okay, what can we learn from this? Why is it a blessing? But I'm saying that perhaps you might agree, you might disagree with me. But I honestly think that these hiccups, these crazy events that are happening, are actually helping everyone, like be it founders, users, investors, traders, etc., everyone to mature quickly, and either by choice or by force, right? Like in this case, sometimes it's by force because of market conditions, because of choices other people make, other organizations. So I think that what we can get out of this is that it's time to take action and be active participants. And when I say active, it's not just going through the motions, but it's taking things more seriously as a community in terms of really knowing what we are getting into. You probably heard of DYOR or Stay SAFU in this space, right? Those are common acronyms, and but like just thinking about that, I don't believe people take things as seriously as they ought to take them. Like doing research and is not just about following what influencers say on social media or read what the community members are posting on the project social media channels. It's not about how cool this project looks like, the user interface, right? It's more than that. I think it's more than that. It's about taking a deep dive into the protocols, the white paper, the docs, and making sure those two are coherent. They go hand in hand and they support each other. And if not, then understanding why, asking people, right? Asking the team and their social media channels, connecting with them, looking at the team and their background. That's very important. Audits, right? Audit reports, see how safe the protocol is, and other safety measures in place, because you want to be sure, like before you put your hard-earned money into crypto, you want to know what you're getting yourself into. Okay, so sometimes you focus just on the superficial matters of crypto. Like this is during bull markets. This has grown 20, 30, 40, 50, over 100%. That's great money, great gains. But I think we have to start. We have to stop thinking about this as a money maker, so to speak, kind of industry, and stop doing that and start thinking about what is the value, the utility that we're getting. When we get a token, like we're supporting that project or the people behind it. So am I supporting the right project with this by acquiring this token or by interacting with this platform, right? So those are things to keep in mind as we get involved with this ecosystem, right? So let's open our eyes and be more educated crypto degens, users, investors, founders, developers, etc. Let's wake up, right? It's a wake-up call, right? Let's be more educated, conscious about our decisions in this space, right? Because you are the owner, right, of your assets, your funds. There isn't a hotline or someone you can text or message and say, hey, where's your money? Can you give back? Like, no, there's this is different, and you have to be aware of that and assume the risks and also the rewards, right? So I firmly believe that all of what's happening right now, it's going to be helpful. Maybe it's now our minds are foggy with what's happening, but this shall pass too. I know that this shall pass. And I read something, and it's something that stuck with me ever since I read it. I think a member of the Polygon team or the Polygon members, like, that the bear market is for builders, right? So now is the time to build. So keep building. At DeFiner, we are building always. It's a DeFi protocol. and we're building the hodler market, and there are already markets out there that you can interact with that have liquidity, and you can use your funds to unlock more capital, especially in bear markets. If you have them locked, you can use them as collateral. So we're always building, we're always growing, and always getting your feedback. So we want to hear from you. So we're committed to building the best DeFi experience that you could ever experience, and we'll do that with your support, with your feedback, with your help. So that's what we're here for. Now, I'm going to. I've done a lot of talking. I just want to open it up for discussion as well. If you want to say anything about how you're handling this, what your thoughts are, what do you think will happen, and how you're reacting, or what's your game plan moving forward, please share it with us. Here, I'm glad Maximus is still with us. Thank you, Maximus. I'm going to invite you to speak. But others, if you want to put it in the comment section below after we're done with this space, let us know. We want to hear you out. So go ahead. Okay. So I'll take silence as a no, but please let us know and share this if you found this useful. This is recorded. Share with their communities. I think it's valuable information about not just what happened, but what's coming and what our role is in all this. So thank you so much for being here. As always, it's a pleasure for me to be hosting these Twitter spaces. We want to make sure that we're growing and you guys are heard, and that we get the participation from you. And as I said earlier, this session is being recorded and will be available for you on our Twitter and later on our YouTube channel. So make sure to go on our YouTube channel and hit that notification button, the subscribe button, and subscribe to our channel. For those out there that are joining us later after this Twitter space, feel free to contact us to find ways to collaborate and add value to our communities. And we'll be posting some resources for you in the description below about our discussion today, so that you can stay in the know. And if you want the latest updates from DeFiner, or just keep in touch with us, follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram community, follow us on our socials, and we have our link tree on our Twitter profile. You can see us there and follow us there. So thank you so much for being here, and stay tuned for more updates. Until next time, Gerald out.